welcome to What Pet Should I Get? My name is Julia Batchelor. We have an excellent show for you today. Emily Jordan will be here from the Ontario SPCA. Later on in the program, Claire Forndren will be here, of course, from Dogtails Rescue and Sanctuary. And up first, we have the lovely Sherry Vanstone here from Adopt a Dog, Save a Life. Welcome back to the show.
Hey, thank you so much. Thanks for having us.
It's a pleasure having you back. Now, can you remind our viewers about Adopt a Dog? Now, your organization was founded 36 years ago.
It's been a really long time, yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of before rescue was even really a thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you're a charitable organization.
Yes.
And how many dogs since then do you know have you guys rehomed and saved?
You know what, I don't have that number, but generally it's around 100 dogs a year. So it's pretty good. We tend to, especially this last year, we don't shy away from dogs with health issues, or, if they need some extra help in the behavior, with behavior modification and things, we'll hire trainers and things. So I feel like we could have greater numbers, but we take on dogs that sometimes take a little bit longer to get adopted. We'll take on bonded pairs, things like that.
Yeah, and we're going to get to these guys shortly. And the key thing, too, with your organization, with Adopt a Dog, is your foster base. So there's no centralized shelter. So the key thing to really the success of what you guys do is based on the people who are willing to do it with you.
Exactly.
Yeah. And what's your foster network like right now?
We have about 24 active foster homes right now. If we had more, we could save more dogs.
Yeah.
But I mean, they need to live somewhere in the meantime. If we pull them from a shelter, or if we, accept an owner surrender, we need to have somewhere to put that dog to live until they get adopted permanently. So we would love to expand our foster network.
So if you're interested perhaps in becoming a foster mommy or daddy to some beautiful dogs, and actually cats too, because I know that Adopt a Dog has cats in foster as well.
You know what, we'll help any animal, and yes, cats.
Yeah, so make sure visit our website. Adopt a Dog's information is on there. It's available on there. Yeah, these guys are distracting me. Speaking of dogs in foster, you have brought this bonded pair.
Yes.
So we have Jasper.
Yes.
And this is Vito.
Jasper and Vito, two little old gents that are besties.
And where are they staying right now?
So these guys, they're actually really cool. They're staying with a very lovely couple who's fostered for us quite a few times. They're in a condo in downtown Toronto on the 7th floor,
Yeah.
And they're great little condo dwellers. So, don't let the fact that they're hounds scare you.
Yeah,
and
thinking you need a big property.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
take them for walks.
There's two of them, and they're, really nice guys. Even today, their parents are at work and left me a key to get in, and they didn't make a fuss, nothing.
The house is still in shape.
The house is in
it hasn't been
perfect
torn up.
shape. They didn't freak out when I came through the door. They're just really nice, relaxed dogs, partially because they're maybe about 10 years old.
You guys show your
But they're
face to
happy.
camera.
Yeah, show your cute muzzles.
There you go.
Come here, Angel. They're really, really sweet boys. I'm kind of in love with them.
So to adopt Vito and Jasper, what's the process? Because obviously people would like to meet the dogs in person. They see the photo online, and then take us from there.
So if you see a dog on our website, adoptadogsavealife.com, or we have a Facebook page, if you see a dog that you like, you would send us, you would fill out an application or send us an application online. So then after the application process, you can meet the dog. We'll arrange that. We also do a home visit. So we do come to people's homes, and there will be a phone interview first, and then a home visit where we have one of our volunteers come out to your home and just, make sure that it's a safe, happy place for a dog to be, and just meet everybody in the family, make sure face to face that everybody's on board and, knows. So, we definitely do our due diligence in making sure that we get a really good home for these guys. We feel a lot of responsibility to the animals that we took into our care. They didn't have a choice, so we have to make sure that we're doing the best that we can for them.
Now, I've heard some people say, too, and it's strange, but some people seem a little bit off-put about the idea of home visits.
Some people don't like them, I agree, yeah.
Yeah, I guess they feel like they're going to be judged or something, but really the idea is not that. It's, like you said, you just want to make sure that the environment is a really good fit, especially for the type of dog that not every dog is going to do well in a condo. Some dogs do need a little bit of space. Yeah. I know higher intelligent breeds, they need a lot more stimulation. So I imagine those are the types of things that you're looking at.
Totally. It's not a judgment at all on somebody, but it's like you said, it's to make sure that the dog fits, but also like I said, we have a responsibility to these guys. Like, I never want to hurt anybody's feelings or make anybody feel bad, but more than that, I'm worried about the animals because they are in our care, they're in our charge, and we have a responsibility to them. So all we're doing is looking at things like I go around and make sure that their fence is secure, especially with like a hound breed.
Yes, because they like to run.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you make sure that their fence is secure, and sometimes if they're not somebody who's had a hound before, they won't realize that, like, you know, a 6-inch hole, a hound can get out.
And they like to dig, and they like to chew.
Exactly. So there's all of these things. Plus, I want to check, like, you know, make sure that when you speak to the other people in the house, even if they signed something on an application, talk to them and make sure that they are into it, that they know that they're getting a pet coming into the house, and that because those are the reasons why animals get returned to rescues, and we just have to do our best for them.
And you don't want that. I mean, that's obviously part of the extensive process of what you go through for adoption, because we want this to be permanent. We don't want any returns.
Exactly.
And I imagine too, through your foster program, you probably have what is known as foster fails.
Yeah. I'm
You're
one
a foster fail.
personally. Yeah. And it's funny because it wasn't a dog that I thought. He just really needed a place. We transferred him in from another rescue who was having problems with him because he was a problem child, and now he's my baby, and I love him. And I was not expecting to keep him, but I did.
Well, that's a good fit.
Yeah.
So, and these two guys are definitely looking for homes.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy,
Oh,
look at this
I
guy.
think
He's
he
a little
found his
love
home.
bug. I have 3 cats. They're not adjusting to the new
hounds and
kitten. I don't know about
Not
the
exactly the best.
Yeah. Where are you getting your dogs from?
A variety of places, but we do pay special attention to some rural shelters, some northern Ontario shelters, places where maybe dogs don't have the
there's
best
not a big enough
chances
population
of being adopted. Exactly.
Yeah.
Once they end up in there, they need to be transferred closer to Toronto, where there is more homes for the dogs. So we do look at those areas. We take owner surrenders.
Yep.
For the sake of the dogs, you know, like, I mean, whatever reason somebody needs to get rid of their dog, if they're getting rid of it, it needs a safe place to go. So we do accept owner surrenders, and lots of them, it's just, you know, something changes in their life, something that is beyond their control. So we would rather be able to step in right from the beginning and put them into a foster home rather than having them go through the step of going to a shelter. Because shelters, they are our frontline workers. They are the people who are there to help dogs in need.
Yep.
But it can be a traumatic situation for some dogs.
Yeah,
so it's better to
definitely.
put them right into a foster home if you can.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Sherry, for being on the show.
Much.
If you're
Appreciate it.
interested in adopting either Vito, or you have to get Vito and Jasper together because they are a bonded pair, please visit our website for details. And of course, if you want to help out Adopt a Dog, Save a Life, you can donate items and, of course, become a foster. We'll see you after the break. Hello and welcome back. Joining me now is Emily Jordan from the Ontario SPCA, and she has brought a special little guy with her. And I would ask him what his name is, but he doesn't have one.
No.
So let's talk to me about him, because I'm sure the viewers may be able to see that he only has 3 legs.
Yes. So he came to us. He's a 1-year-old
Dachshund wiener dog.
Thank you. And he came to us with a broken leg, and the owners unfortunately couldn't afford to pay for it. So we took him on and we took him to a vet, and the vet decided that unfortunately the leg could not be saved and it did have to be amputated. So that's what we did, and that was just done just a couple days ago, so it's still pretty new. And so now he's got the 3 legs, and I think he's already getting around pretty well.
Adjusting to it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we are looking for funds to help us cover the cost of his surgery. We're looking for $4,000. The first day within putting it up, we already got over $1,000.
Nice.
So people have been really generous and very supportive of him. He's not quite ready for adoption yet because, again,
He's got to recover from surgery. Yep, having a limb removed is a big thing.
Yeah. and he didn't come to us with a name. So we're holding a contest on our Facebook page, and we've got a few name suggestions. And you can go on the photo album and then click like to whichever name you like, and we're gonna pick the winner, whoever has the most likes.
Nice, that's fun. I know you guys, because normally I think part of the fun part of your job too is you guys give names to all the animals.
Yeah.
But I like how you're getting the public involved, and I imagine too that helps raise awareness for his needs. And I also like to remind our viewers, and I'm sure you're all quite aware that Ontario SPCA are funded solely by donations. So there's no government funds coming in there. So the money that needed for surgeries, serious surgeries like this, obviously it hits the operating budget pretty hard, right?
Yeah, and we can't do it without the people's help, because stuff like this comes in not on a daily basis, but pretty often, and so we do need the help to cover the cost to make sure that we can get these surgeries done. The animals get the help that they need for sure.
Now, I know people who've had three-legged dogs, and I don't really think that there's much for somebody who, when he does come up for adoption, really needs to consider. Is there, or is there going to be anything that they have to health-wise keep in mind?
Obviously, right now, because he's just recovering, you can't really go for walks with him. You kind of have to plop him out on the grass to pee, and then take him back inside for now until it's fully healed.
Yeah.
But once he's good to go, one of the main concerns is you don't want him to get overweight, because that's going to put a
pressure on.
Yeah. It's going to be hard for him to balance, and it's going to put added pressure on that missing leg area.
Okay, that's something to keep in mind. And do you know approximately how long until he may come up for adoption? How long does a surgery like this take to recover from?
It probably will take a couple weeks at least, if not longer. He's trying to lick his stitches right now.
Oh, you need to get your comb back on your head.
So obviously he still needs to have the stitches removed and have a check over and make sure it's healing well. And so it's hard to say for sure, but it's going to be at least a couple weeks, I would think.
Now, I know we're not quite sure on how our little guy got his leg broken, but that sort of segues into something that we wanted to touch on. Weather's getting really, really nasty now. And there's some things to keep in mind, especially with dogs and cats too, when it comes to winter safety. And I imagine like slips and falls, I mean, can that cause a break to a dog's leg?
Yeah, it could. I mean, a lot of the dogs that we get at the shelter, they'll get broken legs from just jumping off the couch or off the bed funny, and they land funny, and it breaks their leg. So you do have to be careful for sure about stuff like that. Obviously, a big thing is the weather's cold.
Yep.
If it's too cold for you, it's probably too cold for your pet. If your pet has short hair like this little guy has, or even just being a smaller dog, sweaters are always a good idea.
And booties.
And booties.
Or I know that a big thing, well, not so much for cats, because have you ever tried to take a cat for a walk? It doesn't work. But for dogs, I know with the salt and the sands and everything on the ground, and also even with the cold, you want to protect their paws.
Yeah.
And there's different products.
Yep.
I mean, if you want to have fun and make a video, you can always try to put the booties on them, because that's hilarious to watch them walk in those. But there's other products too, right?
Yeah, so they do mention it's a good idea. If your dog has long hair in between its toes, you want to trim that down during winter, because icicles can form in the fur there.
Yeah, and stick on there.
And when you come in from walks, you want to wash their feet, check in between their toes so they're not collecting salt or anti-freeze, anti-ice chemicals in their feet, because that can cause burns. And
wow, and that's something, I just thought of it when you're mentioning antifreeze.
It's very toxic.
It's poison to animals, and it's I understand has a sweet flavor too, so animals are drawn to want to ingest it. So you really need to be mindful if that's scattered anywhere on the sidewalks or on the roads, right?
Yeah, salt, you can get pet safe salt. So even if you don't have pets at home, be nice to your neighbors and buy the pet safe stuff. It would be nice for sure. Other things is it's getting dark earlier, so you want to maybe have reflective gear on your pets when you're taking them out for walks. Keep them on leash, because if especially if it's blowing snowstorm, you don't want to lose them in the snow or have them walk over a pond or something like that and sink through the ice. So those are concerns as well.
Now, I know none of our viewers would do this, but some people leave their animals outside in really fierce weather. I guess maybe they're thinking they have fur coats, they're insulated, they come from the wild at some point in their life. Like you said, if it's too cold for us, it's too cold for them.
So, I mean, there are some people who do have strictly outdoor dogs.
Like that's, huskies in the Arctic.
And that's their choice. But if you do have, a dog that stays outdoor at all times, the OSPCA does have guidelines as to what an ideal doghouse is. So you do have to have a doghouse that's insulated. You have to have heated water bowls so that they always have access to water that's not frozen.
Yep.
So you can find those on our website as well if you want to have an outdoor dog.
If you see an animal, I know if people see animals in distress at all, you always recommend call the Ontario SPCA and let them handle it. Don't try to take it on yourself. But if you see an animal that you think maybe you know, like a cat or dog that's constantly outside, is there any actions that the public can take if they think that it's at the point where it's a danger?
Again, you can definitely call the SPCA because, you know, that's a form of neglect. Or if it isn't someone's pet and it's just a dog that's been lost or a cat that's outside, the OSPCA can pick it up and take it to the shelter where it's going to get fed and be warm. And then we can look into adopting it out if we can't reach the owner.
All right. Yeah, I know. I saw a video actually on YouTube, and it was in Russia, and this couple had come across a cat that had been frozen to the ground because I guess the cat got wet, and then her fur. Yeah, they managed to rescue it, but you can see how easily it is that an animal can go from, you know, being okay outside to being in severe distress, right?
Yeah, and for cats too, I know a lot of people take care of feral cat colonies, and so we do provide feral cat shelters, or you can make your own, and they're very simple to make, but it's just insulated and it's got straw in it to help keep them warm, and then they can have that place to hide during the winter.
All right. Thank you so much, Emily. If you're interested in helping out and naming our little nameless Dachshund, go to our website for all the details. We'll see you on the other side of the break.
My name is Amanda Travis, and this is my dog Sprocket. He came in one day for a dental cleaning in the spay-neuter portion, and instantly as he came down the hallway, I fell to the floor and cuddled with him. And ever since then, I knew he had to come home with me. So literally 4 days later, he was home with me. Well, what drew me to Sprocket was his handsome face, his loving personality, and just the way he seemed to attach himself right away. It was important that he get along with other dogs in our household and our many, many cats. So that was the biggest key. He came home, dog introduction was great. And the cats, he seems to just ignore them, walk on by, and doesn't seem bothered. So it's a great fit so far. Sprocket is just goofy, constant companion, and just always wants to be loved and by your side.
Hello and welcome back. Joining me now is Claire Fondren from Dogtails Rescue and Sanctuary, and she has brought Shusha with her. But before we talk about Shusha, the last time you were on the show, we had Rosie with us. And can we just bring up a picture of Rosie, because good news?
Yeah, the best news, actually. So not only has Rosie been adopted, but she was actually adopted with one of the other dogs that came from the Humane Society of the Bahamas, Ranger. You can see in the photo there. So the family that came fell in love with her and Ranger, and they didn't want to leave either of them behind. So they ended up taking both of them, which was amazing. And both Rosie and Ranger had waited in that shelter for years and years and years. So it was such a happy ending that they found a home so quickly.
And together.
And together,
Yeah. We love stories like that.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are great at rescuing dogs. Dogs, I know, is your forte, but if anybody who's ever visited Dogtails Sanctuary, beautiful property. You guys have a lot of horses. There's cows there. You have ducks, and you have
rabbits.
A new addition. Yes, rabbits. You have a couple pot-bellied pigs, and you have a new addition named Matilda.
Matilda, yes. So Matilda.
Look at her, she's so cute.
Yeah, Matilda was being sold actually as a quote-unquote barbecue pig from a farm not too far from where our sanctuary was, and luckily she ended up with us instead. So we turned her into our office pig. So you can see her sleeping under my desk.
Yeah, it's
in
not
that
often you get to see
there.
a pig in that environment, right? She looks like she's enjoying her pillow.
She is. She's the sweetest thing. It amazes me just how much like a dog she is. I mean, she even plays with some of our dogs on the property. Some of them will go and play group and hang out with her, but she is so smart. I mean, we've had her for just over 2 weeks now, and when she first came to us, she was terrified of all of us. If we tried to touch her, she would
squeal.
scream at the top of her lungs, and I think everyone who was visiting our rescue that week thought that we were torturing this poor pig because of how often she was screaming. But within about 3-4 days, she realized people aren't that bad, and she started really coming up to us and seeking out affection, and she's very snuggly. She'll fall asleep on my lap as I work every night, which obviously won't work when she's 500 pounds, but it's very cute right now. And We've taught her how to sit, so she'll sit for treats. She'll do pretty much anything for treats.
Yep, a pig motivated by food. Who would have thought? Right?
Surprise. But yeah, I mean, for the rest of the training, we're actually bringing in a pig expert in a few days to teach our dog handlers a little more about the
handle
art
pigs.
of pig training, because it's a little different from training a dog.
And the thing that I'm sure a lot of people know, but maybe not everybody knows, is that a pig's intelligence is actually greater than a dog. So if you can train a dog, I mean, you can train a pig. You just said there's obviously a different approach to how you do it.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, we keep joking that she's probably at this point more adoptable than a quarter
Some
of
of
the
the
dogs in her kennel. Like, she's learning so fast.
Wow. How old is she right now?
She's about 4 months right now, so she's still very much like a puppy, really.
Yeah.
Like, she wants to chew everything. She's,
Run and bump into things, knock stuff over. Yeah, I have a kid in my
Exactly.
house that's just over 4 months. They're all alike like
she's
that.
She's a
at that age.
handful, for sure.
Now, I know because you obviously Sanctuaries in your name, is Matilda going to live at Dog Tales forever? Or do you think if somebody shows interest and has the right property, would you maybe adopt her out?
I think we're all so in love with her at this
She's
point
staying.
that she'll be here to stay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of adopting, because you guys are good at finding homes for animals, dogs from far-reaching corners of the earth, we have Shusha, who has made herself right at home here on our stage. Now, Shusha, as you said, excuse me, she's one of our remaining dogs from the shelter that Danielle, who owns Dog Tales, bought this shelter in Israel that was in deplorable conditions.
Yeah.
And how long ago was that?
That was last January, so almost
Almost
a year ago.
And how many dogs were there?
There were 260 dogs in that shelter, which realistically should have only fit about 50, 60 dogs. But we're actually, I mean, that project is almost over. Shusha is one of the last dogs from Israel that we have in our shelter. So I'd say about 90% of them at this point have found amazing homes. And it's really amazing because in a shelter environment, you can only really bring the dogs so far. And once these dogs move on to, you know, quiet homes versus the shelter environment, they start to come out of their shell a lot faster than we were seeing in our shelter. So these dogs are now like at a point where they're coming back with their families for visits, and they seem like completely transformed dogs. And it's so amazing to see how happy they are and how they're living these beautiful lives that a year ago they probably didn't think was possible.
Well, I know that when the dogs that were coming from Israel, and I'm sure Shusha is included in that, they were in rough shape.
Yeah.
And she's looking at her now, she's very, she looks like she loves to eat, and her fur is beautiful. She's a beautiful dog. Obviously, her very calm and relaxed demeanor.
Yeah.
Who would she be suited for?
So Shusha, we think would be best as the only dog in a home because
Okay.
she really likes to be the star of the show. Like if you're giving other dogs attention and not her, she's right there trying to get the attention
Just
back
that little
on
head
her.
under your arm to get you to pet her.
Exactly.
Kind of thing?
Yeah. So we think she'd be the best as the only dog. She's full of energy. So
Except for right now.
Except for right now. I
This is
mean,
good.
it's
This is-
deceptive, but she's usually very bouncy and playful
Yeah.
and loves being outside. She actually loves the snow.
Oh, great.
Which not all of these really dogs have, but she loves being outdoors, so we think that she'd really love to be with an active family.
Good around kids?
Yeah, she's good with kids, but we think she'd be better with older kids, not really young children.
Yeah, because I know it's hard when you get these dogs from the shelter. We're not quite sure what her breed is because certain breeds have certain behavioral things it's just instinctive to them, right? And it's not meaning that they're bad dogs. It's just some are better with bigger people, right?
Right, and she can be like, she really bonds with people quickly, and if she really loves you, can be a little protective of you. So if
Okay.
there are young children
Gotta
coming
keep that
into
in
the house-
mind.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so if you're interested in meeting Shusha and possibly adopting her or any of the other animals you've seen on today's show, please visit us at our website. And remember, Dog Tales is open to the public every Sunday from 11 to 5. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.